What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got another good video for you guys. This is on our 2014 F350 that we just got. So, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I touched upon it in last video, but on our way home from Bonnyville, we actually hit a pothole, had a death wobble. Now, it wasn't severe, but it was a death wobble, so today I'm going to try and correct this without having to go get an alignment done. Now, my thoughts, you might be like, why do you have all these brand new shocks? Well, the shocks and the coils, these were takeoffs from our 2022 when we lifted it, right? Well, I did some measurements. All of these shocks and springs should fit on that truck. So, today what we're going to be doing, we got to pull the front tires off, and we're going to do the shocks. We might have time to slap the coils in. It all depends how hard that's going to be. Update as well. We do have the deck in. Been doing a few little things for you guys. You know, just trying to... But we got the deck in. We do have to bolt it down and drill some holes, so that'll be a today project as well. Another thing... Let me know, what do you think of the deck in this truck? I think it helps, makes it look really, really good. We pulled the running boards off. You know those aren't going to stay long. And then the only other thing we've been doing is just getting this truck set up for our stuff. So of course I got my phone mount in there. And we still got to do the phone booster. That I have not done. And then our two-way radio, but I got to get a mount for the front antenna before we go ahead and do that. Other than that, we got a few little things coming that you'll see. We're going to be debadging it off the side. I'm not a big fan of these big badges. I think they just look a little tacky. When they were new, they were kind of cool, but these ones are also faded. So yeah. Plan for this truck, I don't know if I've gone through that. We're going to be doing LED headlights. We're going to do smoke marker lights, cab lights. Let me know down below, do you guys want to see me do the 17 to 19 cab lights and do a conversion? Let me know. I think those will look better on this truck. I think these ones are kind of ugly. And then the other thing, we might do some tail lights, some stuff like that. And of course we also have to get our deck figured out and get that wired in. But check this out. So if you guys don't know, those were not working. But also Ford had like a 3 light bar that they used on these trucks. We got rid of those. We drilled holes and then we used the bullet lights, same as the sled deck. So we use these lights down here, wired them in, used the plug. I think it looks way better, and now they work, so that's even a bonus. But yeah, let's jack the front of this truck up. We'll pull the tires off the front, and let's get to doing some front end work. Well, here we go, guys. So this was the old one. See how it's not returning? That thing, junk. Check that out though. Brand new shocks on there. So all it is you'll need a 21 mil or a 13/16 socket for the top, and then a wrench, same for there. And then you just have an 18 mil down there, and then there's a nut with a little holding tab for that bottom nut or bolt. So, really easy to do. They fit perfect. I measured them out. Of course, once I had this shock out, it's the same length, same compression, same travel. So, there we go. A good thing for us, there's a ton of people that just throw their shit out after they do a lift to their truck. Check Kijiji, check Craigslist, Marketplace, whatever. There's shocks out there, and they do work. Now, our 2020 was an FX4, so it has these same shocks, if not a little better being newer, as these old Rancheros that look like garbage. So there we go, guys. That one's done. I'm going to get the other side done, and I'm going to do the steering stabilizer. And then I'm going to move to the back, do the shocks on the back quick. I'm not going to have time to do the coils today, but it will get done in this video. We'll just piece this together, but the shocks are a big one. I really think once we get that all fixed that this death wobble issue should be gone. So, well, there you guys go. We are done with the front. We got our steering stabilizer. This is the old one. See how it's kind of like a spring? That's not right. So we got that new one in there. Throw under here for you. So that's that guy right there. So yeah, you got one bolt at this end right there, and then you got one more right there at the end of the shock. So super easy. Definitely someone's been in the front diff, as there's stuff hanging there. Really everything else looks like it's in order. Got a little bit of leak there. When I looked at this truck originally, it did have a little bit of pukage at the power steering. So, you know, there's things that I know that we're gonna have to fix eventually. There's a lot of things that we're gonna do before they blow up. The camera's actually really foggy right now. Super humid outside. But yeah, so we got the front done. I don't have time for coils, or maybe I do, I don't know. I'm gonna get the shock, no, because I gotta do the bed, and I wanna do the rear shocks. So we're gonna jump under, do those quick. And then we got to center the bed and bolt the sled deck in. So, well guys, we got the rear done. Now, it's kind of hard to show because I can't keep that together. The only thing that's different on the rears is the 2020 shocks are actually longer by quite a bit. Now, the good thing is when they're fully compressed, they're only about 1/4 inch longer than the factories. They still fit into place, and the bolts are the same still. So, if anything, it'll just give us a little more droop travel with the suspension. Now, to say that's going to be a good thing, a bad thing, we don't know. But we're going to run them, because I have these. If they don't work out, we'll just have to get new ones. Now, the only good thing about that is since we have airbags on this truck, we could run the airbags a little higher and we'll still have more travel in the suspension. So it'll almost act like we have a leveling kit in the rear or a 2-inch lift. So that's good for us. That's the thing you got to remember is, like, you know, you can change geometry, suspension, shit like that. Now the other thing, you might be thinking, oh, well, if you bottom out, you'll bottom out the shock. If I bottom out the back of my 1-ton dually, we're gonna be in trouble. Like, that's gonna be a heavy hit. So I think it'll be fine. We're gonna run them. If we end up having issues, well, we'll let you guys know. That's the whole point of this channel. We try things, we try and make things work. Sometimes we fail. That's just part of me, that's part of life. So we'll get the last rear one in. All right guys, next day we're back on this. We drove it yesterday. We went about 400 some K. Had to run down to Sundry and come back. We picked up a hitch. You'll see that in the next video. But yesterday we hit a bunch of potholes. We hit a bunch of different terrain that should have caused a death wobble. The death wobble is not an issue at this point. So between the front shock and the steering stabilizer that was blown, pretty sure that wasn't helping. Now, not to say that it's gone forever. We still might go get this thing aligned, get a few more degrees of caster put into it just to make it that little bit more safer. But at this point, the way it sits, it is good to go now. So what we didn't have time for was to do the front coils. So I'm gonna jack the truck up again. We're gonna pull the front tires off and we are going to replace those front coil springs. And then we're gonna just touch up some of the frame. Just wherever there's rust, we'll go through, we'll kind of buff it, clean it, and then give it a quick coat of spray paint. Try and keep this thing looking good. Alright, so right off the bat, you want to do this safe. Now we're working on gravel, so our jack stands aren't going to be 100% like straight up and down, but they are safe. These are 6-ton stands. Now what you want to do is you want to jack the truck up, set the frame on the front stands. That's what we did here. And then all you'll use is your little jack, and that'll go under the axle. So I'm gonna pull the tires off, and then we're gonna let the axle drop. And what that'll do is that'll take most of the weight off our springs. So we'll be able to get it right out. We might have to loosen the shocks just to get that little bit more travel, but we'll show you as we go here. So here you guys go. This is one taken apart. So loosen your shock. Just pull that bottom bolt out. And then there's one bolt here. Little 10mm wrench you'll need. Disconnect your brake line bracket. Just let your brake hose hang. So that's what it looks like when it's out. Of course, there's our springs. We'll come back to those. But, so this is what it'll look like. So it'll either pull off of here, or it'll pull off of this part. Let me just grab a pry bar, show you how I got it out. So I just use a heel bar. Get your heel bar underneath, and then just pry up. You break that free. And then basically, it'll come to the point where it's pretty much out. You just grab it. Now watch brake lines. If you have that happen, you don't want to hurt your brake lines. So you might just have to be gentle with it. Work it around. There's your coil spring. Come over here. We're going to reuse our top hats. I got to break that one free. But the new one, you'll basically just take it, set it on there, give it a good smack with a hammer. You might not even need to whack it, and then just put these back into the truck the way we took them out. Here we go. So this is with the new coil spring in. Now the only thing you have to pay attention to is where the end of the coil spring goes. There's a little stop right there, right? So you want the end of the coil spring into that stop, and then the top, as long as you have the rubber on correct, it doesn't matter where that ends up going. Now, with this, you have still a little bit of curl. That's just common with coil springs. But yeah, bend out this bottom tab with a hammer, give it a couple smacks for your shock. That'll help that go back in easy. And then just throw your bolts in, use Loctite. Remember to remount your brake line brackets. Yeah, it's super simple, super easy to do. Just make sure you have everything kind of in the right spot, and you put it back together correctly. But that's that side. We'll just walk around here. This other side sits basically the same, just opposite. And there you guys go. So once again, those are from our 2020 Powerstroke, the one that we traded in. Here's the old coils. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. Now those are not damaged by no means, but they are rusty. They look like crap. And I'm sure that they're sagged out a little bit. With that being said, that's the reason we're changing them, is because we have them. Now yes, we're eventually going to do a lift on this truck, so these will only be in for a short period of time, but until then it makes the front of the truck look so much better because we got brand new parts into there. So I'm gonna button up everything now, put the wheels back on, torque them to the 150 foot-pounds, which is the spec, and then we might do a couple other little things in the video. Alright, there we go guys. So we got brand new coils in the front. Now it doesn't really sit that much higher. Of course it wouldn't, they're still factory springs. They do sit a little bit better just because they're not sagged out, but give that a little bit of time, it'll settle. Now I don't know, should we do a leveling kit to this truck? It does sit pretty level as is, maybe a little bit low in the front, but not too bad. So yeah, if you guys are doing the same stuff as me, you got one of these older trucks, check it out online. There's lots of people that have old suspension parts for sale, or go to a dealership. They throw this stuff out when you do a lift, unless the customer asks for their stuff back. Now there's a lot of people that have parts like this laying around that they don't use, they'll never use, so you might be able to pick shit up for very, very cheap. And the fact that it does fit, like the coils on the front and the shocks on the front, plus the steering stabilizer, direct fitment into this truck. The rear shocks, like I said in the first part of this video, They are a tad bit longer. We rode this truck yesterday, drove it. It felt good. It felt fine. Of course, we're empty. Now you put 28,000 pounds. Or you load this truck to the 14,000 pound GVW it has. You know, you might see that, but maybe not. You got 2 overloads and a bump stop to hit. And I'm sure that's before the shock bottom's out. Ford would have designed that because that's the way it is. So, yeah. The only other thing is next time you guys see a video, we're going to be doing a 3-inch hitch conversion. And what I mean by that is if you come to the back of the truck, so you see we have a 2-inch, this is a 2.5-inch hitch. Now the newer trucks, 2020 and newer, actually 17 and newer Super Duties, they have a 3-inch. So come back next video. We picked something up yesterday. You guys will see that in the next video. Comment down below. What else do you guys want us to do to this truck? Your suggestions will be heard. And I'm sure lots of your guys' ideas are already stuff on my radar. But I'm always looking for ideas. So without, yeah, thanks for watching this video. We'll see you guys next time.